Hey, it's Dr. Amanda with Straightsmile Solutions, straightsmilesolutions.com. I did another video about Invisalign and implants. From a few years ago, and I think it was from before Invisalign came out with their CBCT features. So I covered a lot of best practices in there. Ultimately, definitely watch that video first. I'm sure you can find it. Just go to my channel, YouTube, Straightsmile Solutions, put in the keyword section, Invisalign, implants, and it should come up. Watch that first. I'm going to be building on that video. Okay, so this is kind of a 2.0 video because some technology has changed. But ultimately, yeah, I mean, that's not my preference, is to take a case with implants that already has existing implants and try to do Invisalign. Why? Because we're kind of screwed, because we can't move not only that tooth, but it changes the entire mechanics. Let's say it's a back tooth. If it's a back tooth, okay, what are the 5 ways we address crowding? Well, number 1 way is going to be arch expansion. Can't do that because you have a back tooth implant. So that's locked. You can't move the back teeth arch at all. So, and we definitely can't sequentially distalize because we have a back tooth implant. So that's out. We could do some anterior IPR. That's an option. Maybe you could do some anterior proclination, but usually that doesn't work out too well if you can't also expand because the arch form looks weird. And it just ends up pushing the teeth through the bone. So that's out. Extractions, yeah, you're not going to do that if you already have an implant in one part. That's just not going to work. So yeah, that basically leaves anterior IPR and that's it. So sometimes it's just not possible to take a case as an existing implant. It's even worse if it's an anterior implant. Sometimes we can just do this other arch, but it have to be a very easy case. So the moral of the story is, and I'm talking, it doesn't matter if it's restored or not, as long as the implant is placed, whether it has a healing abutment or not, as long as the implant is placed. Other thing you have to keep in mind is anytime you take a case with an implant, we really don't want to move any of the teeth around that implant either, because we don't want to bump teeth into the implant. Now, there is one exception, and that is if you're working with Invisalign or Spark that have the CBCT feature built into it. That way, we can in real time see exactly where the implant is, and we can make sure if we're moving the teeth adjacent to it or above it, that we're not bumping the tooth into the implant. That would be bad because not only could it possibly cause that implant to fail, also it could damage the roots to the healthy teeth, and you could lose a lot more teeth than the one you already lost, which could be a lot more expensive. And if you're the orthodontist or the dentist who's doing this and you made that oopsie, guess whose problem that is? That's your problem, because you didn't do things properly or use the right technology, and you shouldn't have taken that case, in my opinion. So you got to be really careful, especially now that that technology exists. It's kind of unacceptable for you to be taking a case and using technology from 20 years ago when the proper technology exists. If you don't have this technology, be it a CBCT, first of all, that's BS, because we don't have a CBCT in our office, but yet if we need one, we go to a center where you can do it. And unless you're in the middle of nowhere, where there is no CBCT center anywhere within a few hours of drive, well, then maybe you should get one. So I hate to be hard ass here, but I mean, if technology is standard of care for certain type of cases, you either don't take the case or you find a way to get to the technology, or you don't take the case. Same thing goes with the supernumerary teeth. Occasionally you can keep a supernumerary tooth. Obviously you want to take a CBCT first, make sure it's high and dry, it's nowhere near the teeth you're going to be moving. Get that in writing from the radiologist. Then you're going to put the CBCT into the Invisalign plan so that you can make sure what movements you want to do aren't going to bump it. And then you're going to have to follow up periodically with a CBCT. So let's say you do have an implant and you don't have a CBCT. You could theoretically take a series of PA x-rays every few months, but you're going to have to check it just to make sure what you're doing isn't going to bump into it. I don't love the idea of you even taking that case, to be honest, especially now that the technology is there, but you'd have to follow up on a regular basis just to make sure, or you just lock all the teeth in the back teeth area. You just lock them and don't move them at all. You just move front teeth. But if you're only moving front teeth, remember, that's going to mean you can't do a lot of the movements. You can't expand arches. You can't do sequential distalization. You probably can't take out any teeth. You can do a little IPR, but you can't take a hard case, and you're not going to make this case perfect. So that's probably what you're going to have to do. All right, that was a lot of information, but hopefully you keep that in mind. Thanks.